Good morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is off today. Plenty to celebrate this weekend, but you're going to have to do it amid those record-breaking temperatures that are baking most of the country. Right now, more than 150 million people are waking up under heat advisories. It's really bad in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, where temperatures in some spots are almost 20 degrees higher than normal. This sweltering heat is prompting officials to issue warnings. Do not spend too much time outside. Of course, a lot of folks are leaving their homes. A record-setting 72 million Americans are expected to travel this holiday season. Most will be driving, which will cause major headaches on the highways as temperatures soar. Let's hope the AC in your car is working. We're covering this story from all angles, including the hot forecast and how to navigate those travel headaches. We're going to start with NBC's Sam Brock in New York City with the latest on the heat wave. Sam, good morning.
Joe, good morning. Excitement is in the air here in New York City, and so is a whole lot of humidity. The timing could hardly be any worse on this. You have millions of Americans that are getting ready to spend basically all day outside tomorrow, celebrating in epic fashion America's 250th birthday, while at the same time we're pushing heat indexes of 110 or higher in some cities. I'm in Brooklyn Bridge Park right now. Over my shoulder, you see the bridge. There's going to be fireworks launched from there, and on barges here on the East River, you'll have tall ships sailing right through the East River, and on the other side of the city, the Hudson River too. And at the same time, people are just going to be trying to balance being outside with not putting themselves at risk, because we recorded all kinds of historic numbers just yesterday. You're talking about Williamsport, Pennsylvania, a new record of 100 degrees, Washington, D.C., 102, Newark, New Jersey, Joe, 104 degrees. And we also have certainly seen that many cities are responding by declaring heat emergencies, right? That's happened in New York, Washington, D.C., Philly, Boston, all of these areas right now just smothered in a blanket of heat. We are also seeing the effects when it comes to power outages. Con Ed, which is the main utility provider here in New York City, just posted shortly ago that they've had to restore somewhere in the neighborhood of 60,000 customers' power because of this heat wave. Now, so far, we haven't reached critical mass on that, but Mayor Mamdani here in New York calling on residents to keep their thermostats at 78 degrees. And Con Ed has had to reduce the voltage in areas like the Bronx and Westchester County, which is just north of New York. So it is potentially a serious situation if the temperature and thermometer dials up even more. It's so hot here in the city, Joe, that one woman even stuck her foot onto the sidewalk in asphalt, pulled it away, and you saw her shoe print in the sidewalk, just to give you sort of a window into how insane it is here. I would also add that, just to throw in another mix, another angle to all of this, you had shark sightings on Long Island. So people that were trying to escape New York to just get out there, get onto the shoreline, enjoy some nice cooler water, they saw sharks, and in Hempstead had to be pulled off of the beach. Just some of the many things that people are trying to balance here. Obviously, there's a ton of anticipation for what we're about to witness, but it has to be done with a level of caution because the consequences could certainly be dangerous, and everyone is well aware of that. Joe, let me send it back to you.
All right, sweat or shark, those are your options, Sam. Thank you. Let's get a closer look at just how high those temps will reach at the risk of storms for those looking to the skies for the fireworks. Angie Lastman joins us now with the forecast. Angie, good morning.
Joe, see, none of the above. I don't want the sweat. I don't want the sharks. I would like another option. Work on that for me. You've got that right. We've got a whole lot of heat to talk about. 151 million people under these heat alerts. It's been like this for days and days, this amount of heat alerts, with those heat index values being a real concern, upwards of 100 to 110, even close to 115 in some spots. And we've got dozens of records once again potentially breaking as we get through the day today and even into the weekend. New York City, one of those spots where we're expecting 102 degrees for your temperature today. If we can get to 103, that would be a record for this date. Either way, it's going to feel like 110 at the warmest part of the day. 105 for the heat index in Pittsburgh. Roanoke ends up at 103, feeling like 105 in Columbia. Nashville, your actual temperature 100, but you will feel like 113. So still the dangerous heat kind of stuck across much of the east. As we get into tomorrow, getting the weekend underway, 98 in New York City, feeling like 104. Norfolk, 101, feeling like 113. We don't see any relief, unfortunately, as we get into Saturday, and some spots will start to get a little bit of relief by the time we get into the end of the weekend. So Chicago, you're down to the low 80s by Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. You get back up to the mid 80s. It's the 90s for temperature Sunday in Washington, D.C., but notice that Tuesday temperature, 83. That's going to feel really nice for folks there. Unfortunately, if you live in Raleigh, you're into the triple digits through at least the beginning of this upcoming work week, and then 97 degrees. That's all you're going to get for a bit of a cool down on Tuesday. That's not saying much. And when you look at those heat index values, you can see even when we do get a little bit of relief in some of these spots, we're still fairly warm and uncomfortable through at least the weekend and into early next week. Also, we've been talking about this for days where we've got all that heat, and that's also causing some problems with trapping all that pollution at the surface. So you're going to want to limit your outdoor activities if you live in places like New York, Nantucket, Atlantic City, Washington, D.C. If you have breathing issues, we've got the air quality alerts up. Those are going to stay with us likely through the next couple of days. And to add to all of that, we've also got the storm chances. This is something that could interrupt some maybe fireworks plans. We've got this afternoon and evening some stronger thunderstorms stretching from the plains across the Great Lakes and out to the northeast, mainly looking at wind gusts and hail. The tornado risk is on the low end. But as we get into tomorrow, again, centered across parts of the mid-Atlantic and the northeast, another chance for some stronger storms. We've just got all the ingredients there to kind of spark those. So Pittsburgh to New York City, Philadelphia, Ocean City, New Jersey, all of those locations going to watch for the potential for some stronger storms tomorrow. And then as we look at your Sunday, that slight risk kind of stays with us across some of those same regions. So dodging the thunderstorms is going to be something you'll have to do while also trying to cool down. And when it comes to travel impacts today, I think across parts of the plains to the northeast, of course, those thunderstorms could impact you. We'll watch some of those downpours across Florida, but places like New York City, Minneapolis, Chicago, Joe, those are the locations that you'll likely see some delays if you are heading to the airport or going to be on the roadways.
All right, Angie, thank you so much. Now, despite the heat, a record-breaking number of Americans are expected to hit the roads and skies this holiday weekend. AAA says more than 72 million people will travel more than 50 miles from their home between now and Sunday. Of course, gas prices are higher than they were this time last year, so are airline tickets, so many are choosing to drive and stay a little closer to home. NBC News national correspondent Aaron Gilchrist is in Atlanta. There's more on what travelers can expect. Aaron, good morning.
Yeah, today is the federal observance of the Independence Day holiday, and that means millions of people do have this day off, and that could help folks get a head start on the long weekend travel. AAA says 72 million Americans are expected to travel this holiday weekend. That includes about 61 million people moving by car. So, a few things you may need to know. On average, right now, a gallon of gasoline is costing about 70 cents more than it did this time last year, but it is down from the peak back in May, and that's a bit of good news for you. As far as traffic goes, well, AAA warns that roads are going to start hitting that peak congestion that we hear about around noon today, and that'll go through about dinner time. So, if you're able to leave before 11 o'clock this morning, that could help you save a little bit of time. And you don't want to forget to have water, to have that emergency kit in the car with you, especially with this extreme heat that we're dealing with in so many places. Now, as for more than 6 million people who are flying this holiday, prices for tickets, we know they're up about 5%. And according to the FAA, more than 51,000 planes are expected to be in the air today. We've already seen some complications. We know that JFK had a temporary ground stop in place yesterday afternoon. And really, that was just because of the extremely high volume they had to deal with at that airport. So you want to make sure you pack your patience before you head out the door to celebrate America's birthday. Back to you.
All right. Aaron, thank you so much for tips on how to travel safely this weekend. Let's bring in AAA spokesperson Aixa Diaz. Good to have you with us. Happy holiday. So you're projecting at AAA roughly what, 85% of people who are going to be traveling are going to be driving. What are the biggest challenges that travelers are likely to face on the road? What's the best way to prepare?
And Joe, most people drive because it's the most convenient and most economical in many cases. Even though gas prices have been high, it's still cheaper to just fill up once or twice along your road trip than have to buy multiple plane tickets if you've got a family of about 3 or 4 or 5 people. So most people are driving, but they're going to encounter a lot of traffic. We're projecting 61.4 million people will be traveling by car this holiday weekend. And that also means you want to leave early, but also keep this heat in mind because we've been talking about this extreme heat heat, and it can cause a lot on your vehicle. It wreaks havoc on your tires, on your battery. So before you leave, check that tire pressure, check your battery status, make sure that that's okay. And then pack plenty of waters, have a cooler with ice, because if you get stuck on the interstate, and let's say there is some sort of crash on the highway that stops traffic, you might want to turn off your vehicle at some point if you're stuck in standstill traffic. So maybe having a little portable fan as well, but also stay hydrated.
Yeah, keep in mind, just in case the worst case scenario happens while you're in that car and driving in this heat. Aaron mentioned that the fuel costs rising from the war with Iran, not as high as they were earlier this year, but still pretty high, which is why gas prices are on the minds of many travelers. Any tips on how people can maybe save at least a little bit of money at the pump?
Yeah, so signing up for fuel rewards and loyalty programs at gas stations is really smart. AAA partners with Shell Fuel Rewards, and you save at least 5 cents a gallon, and that adds up over time. So make sure you do that, but also be mindful of how much stuff is in your vehicle. The heavier your vehicle is and the more load you put in the trunk, the more your car has to work. Also keep in mind that, fuel efficiency peaks at around 50 miles per hour, so speeding is not going to really help you at all. But ultimately, remember that gas has come down. We're about 50 cents cheaper than we were just about a month ago. And even though we are higher than last year, they have been coming down. And so drivers are getting a bit of a relief right now at the pump.
If you could leave travelers with just one important safety reminder this 4th of July weekend, what would it be?
I would say prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. And that means that you pack extra things that you may never need, but you want to have just in case. And especially for people who are flying as well, keep in mind, delays and cancellations are a possibility with the heat, with the volume, and with storms. So have extra snacks with you, have maybe a portable fan with you. That way, if you're stuck on the tarmac because you can't take off, you'll be comfortable.
I know a lot of people did leave yesterday. I think that was supposed to be the biggest travel day, but clearly many people are today because they are off. For those who are driving, are there often good tips as to when is the best time to leave? When are the times you should definitely avoid? And same when people are maybe starting to already think of that return trip. What's some of the best advice there?
Well, certainly returning the earlier the better on Sunday, especially for people who stayed up late on Saturday. They don't want to get up early on Sunday. You want to be the one who gets up early on Sunday and hits the road earlier, because as soon as lunchtime hits on July 5th, those roads are going to be packed. And also, I typically tell people to travel on the holiday itself, like Thanksgiving. It's always lighter on the roads. But July 4th is different. It's an all-day event. You've got people driving all day, driving to parades, the pool, the beach, fireworks. So remember, traffic's going to be heavy all day on Saturday as well. But the earlier the better. Typically morning hours are better than afternoon hours. And if you're a night driver and you don't mind driving at night, then usually around 8 p.m. is when things start to lighten up a bit.
Plus, morning and night, it's a little bit cooler out, which helps right now with these temperatures. Aixa, good to have you with us. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Americans coast to coast are getting ready to celebrate the nation's 250th birthday. A number of events, big and small, are planned throughout the weekend to mark the milestone. President Trump will oversee events from the National Mall, while those jaw-dropping tall ships are set to grace the eastern seaboard. NBC News correspondent Alice Barr joins us from Washington. More on all the festivities. Alice, good morning. Happy 4th of July Eve.
And the same to you, Joe. A lot of stirring on this holiday eve because Americans are not missing a chance to celebrate this 250th anniversary 4th of July. But officials are urging everyone to stay hydrated and weather aware, with scorching heat blanketing much of the country. You can see it from the skies across America, mowed into a lawn in North Carolina.
250th on rolled around one time.
Formed in a human Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, Americans making their mark on 250 years of history. But it's what we'll see in the skies that'll really steal the show. Boston giving an early peek as New York is welcoming majestic tall ships while working out its finishing fireworks touches.
Nonstop action and beautiful art in the sky.
And in Washington, D.C., final preparations for what's billed as the world's largest fireworks display.
At least 100 times more than an average 4th of July display that you would see.
President Trump is set to speak on the National Mall for the Freedom 250 Salute to America.
Right now, you have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and we do.
The event start time now delayed from 1 to 5 p.m. because of the triple-digit heat. The Capitol 4th concert is supposed to be tonight. Authorities, though, closed a rehearsal to the public last night and said they're going to make a decision this morning about whether the full concert can safely happen tonight in this extreme heat, Joe.
Yeah, and Alice, we heard a brief comment from President Trump there, but what else is he saying about the event and just what we can expect this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, he's saying this is going to be the biggest kind of celebration of its kind. We know that they're going for a Guinness World Record with the fireworks display, with more than 850,000 pyrotechnics set to be launched during the 40-minute show. The president has also said he's going to give a long speech. That's supposed to start at 9:45 and the fireworks show at 10:30. Before that, there's the Great American State Fair that's open. There are flyovers starting at 1:15, and there are a lot of reminders for anybody that's going to be out there to use the hydration stations, to get some breaks in the shade, and to just be smart while you're out in this hot conditions.
There will be no shortage of fireworks and big displays happening throughout this weekend. All right, Alice, thank you so much. The office of longtime Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell says he remains in the hospital, and now we're learning more details about that recent medical episode at his home. NBC's Gary Grumbach joins us with the very latest. Gary, good morning. So Senator McConnell's office has not publicly disclosed why the 84-year-old was admitted to the hospital. That happened back on June 14th. Of course, his medical history in recent years is well documented. Walk us through what we do know about the senator's health and just what happened at his home.
Hey there, Joe. So we do know Senator Mitch McConnell was hospitalized on June 14th, and he remains hospitalized today. We also know that on June 14th, there was a call to Mitch McConnell's house in Washington, D.C., because someone was experiencing cardiac arrest, and they received CPR. Now, we do not know if the same person was Mitch McConnell, but McConnell is 84 years old, and he has had a series of medical complications over the past several years, including falls during events in Washington, D.C., several freezing up incidents on camera. He has said he will not seek re-election after his term ends in January, Joe.
All right, Gary, let's get to some other Washington headlines out of D.C. A U.S. Olympian has been indicted in connection with some of the damage that was found at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. We know earlier in the spring, the pool underwent this multi-million-dollar rehabilitation project. What more are we learning about this?
Yeah, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro announcing yesterday that David Hearn, he's an Olympic canoeist, he has been indicted on one count of causing more than $1,000 in damage to the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. You'll remember that part of Hearn's arrest was actually caught on camera, and he said to NBC News afterwards that he caused no damage, that he didn't do anything wrong. His attorney said the same thing yesterday. Here's what U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro had to say about the incident.
This was a deliberate act to damage the reflecting pool at the National Mall. Our evidence further shows that the National Park Service employees observed Hearn actually forcefully and violently pulling up and removing the bottom liner with both hands.
Now, there have been several arrests made, but there's been only one person indicted for any kind of damage to the reflecting pool. You'll remember that the White House and President Trump have made several allegations without providing evidence that there was significant damage made to the reflecting pool, including alleging a 250 to 300-foot gash in the reflecting pool. We've tried. We have found no evidence of that gash, and the National Park Service, the Department of Interior, and U.S. Park Police haven't responded to requests for comment on that. Joe?
Gary, while we have you, I want to ask you about a memo that was issued by the FBI. It's related to the investigation of the 2020 presidential election in Georgia. That's a state, if you recall, President Trump lost to Joe Biden. But the president continues to claim without any evidence that the election was rigged. What is the FBI focusing on here?
So the FBI is asking every single one of their field offices around the country, all 56 of them, to assign people to a specific issue in Fulton County, in the Atlanta area of Georgia. This is apparently related to the 2020 election and the FBI's investigation into what happened during the 2020 election. We're talking 250 employees dedicated to this effort. It's really an unprecedented moving of resources into this sort of situation. In January January, you'll remember the FBI had executed a search warrant at a Fulton County headquarters, essentially, where all the ballots existed, and they took a lot of the ballots, they took a lot of the ballot images, and they took some of the voter rolls as well. It's unclear exactly what they are looking for here, but they're certainly doing some sort of very serious level of investigating here, Joe.
6 years after the election. All right, Gary, thank you so much. We're learning more details about this week's sky-high stunt at the Empire State Building here in New York. The couple that captured the country's attention by climbing to the top of the spire appeared in court yesterday. They are facing numerous charges. NBC News correspondent Valerie Castro has more on how they made it past security.
We're learning new details about that alarming security breach. Those two climbers with a jaw-dropping, death-defying stunt at the Empire State Building.
Is he proposing to her?
The couple seen leaving court apparently still wearing the same outfits they scaled the spire in.
It was very cold last night.
Angelina Nicolau and Ivan Kuznetsov now charged with several felonies, including reckless endangerment for trespassing overnight in a restricted area, according to the criminal complaint. Sources telling NBC News investigators are looking into whether the pair may have used a separate tenant entrance to the building to avoid security screening, and whether the pair may have been scouting the building prior and even left some tools in advance of the operation.
We just need to relax now.
At one point, photographers asking them to recreate their kiss more than 1,400 feet in the air.
A kiss, a kiss, a kiss.
All right, all right.
Their attorney speaking after their court appearance.
I will say, it's nice to have somebody wearing black mask doing a message of peace.
But the NYPD says their actions won't go unpunished.
Unacceptable, and there's going to be consequences.
Our thanks to Valerie Castro for that report. The couple faces up to 7 years in prison if convicted on all charges. They are now due back in court in late August. Let's stay here in New York. In case you haven't heard, there is a wedding that is happening. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce officially kicked off their multi-day wedding celebration last night. And ahead of tonight's nuptials, a representative for Swift says the couple donated $26 million to 20 charities across the country. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas has more on the celebrity guests, the family arrivals, and all the wedding buzz.
The wedding festivities for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce officially kicking off. Black SUVs seen pulling up to New York's Madison Square Garden ahead of what is expected to be their rehearsal dinner at the venue's Emphasis Theater, according to an NYPD memo. Right here behind me is a white tent that has been erected to protect the privacy of guests when they arrive.
How are you feeling today, Miss Kelce?
Photographers catching Kelce's mom after landing in New York. A source at MSG telling NBC News MSG employees are not allowed back on premises until Sunday. Also saying the couple is playing on the venue's name with a garden theme, adding that inside the space has been transformed with drapery and chandeliers hung, and more than 1,000 guests are expected to attend Friday's Big Bash and enjoy performances from artists like Stevie Nicks. Outside, road closures and ramped up security around the arena. For those still skeptical about the impending nuptials, officers were spotted with folders marked Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce wedding.
This is normal for Taylor Swift to have people speculate because she loves keeping her fans on edge. It's part of the thrill. It's part of the fun of being a Swiftie.
Chloe Malas, NBC News.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.